Howdy ho, welcome to the stream. This is Rauta. This is your monthly stream, and we have things to talk about. We have things to discuss. Why so? Because I'm moving temporarily. I'm moving house by the end of month. I'm going to a different country. We're gonna discuss that as well. Some other things. We're also gonna enjoy some satanic hot sauce today. Let's just do it a little bit later so people have time to catch up. Hello, Sigurd. Nice to have you here. And yeah, of course, we're going to do some questions and answer studies. You're once again free, feeling free to ask me anything. That's what I'm trying to say here. So today, later on, we will unbox, unbottle. Can we say it like that? This what's it called? Death Breath of Golgotha. This is done by my United States based, my American friend doing Satanic Hot Sauce. As you can see, this one is still sealed. Why so? Well, first of all, this is not the first Satanic Hot Sauce I'm having. This friend of mine, Jordan, who is running the business, maybe it was roughly a year ago, maybe even longer than that. He sent me a bottle of Satanic Hot Sauce. That is chili sauce with satanic topic. And since then, he has done some collaborations with some bands and people in the scene. And one of them is Horna. You might know Horna being the Finnish black metal band that is. Mind you, there's hair. So this one is done with collaboration with Infection of Horna, the guitarist, and he named this. As you can see, this is, I don't know if the Zoom will actually pick it up. I'm trying to figure out. There it is. So Jesus is there on a cross. I don't know why there is so many balloons right there, whatever grapes they might be. But anyway, Jesus is there on the cross, on a mount or hill of Golgotha. He's there, and yeah, decided to save this special bottle for this kind of stream. Now, those people who actually saw some of my content from Steelfest 2022 noticed that Mr. Satanic Hot Sauce actually gave me another bottle at Steelfest. And I was supposed to bring it home, used with, at home with various kind of food. People who know my taste for food like that. I know that I truly love hot food, be it Indian or Thai food or, just some hamburgers with some really chili sauce, hot sauce, the things that actually burn my mouth. I am a sucker for that kind of punishment as well. It isn't limited to martial arts or powerlifting or extreme metal. I'm also a man of extreme tastes, and these kind of hot sauces are good. So I think it was last year when I reviewed the first Satanic Hot Sauce bottle that was along the Back the New Imbel Nazarene album. And because of that, he gave me another bottle at Steelfest, which were, and again, yeah, indeed, supposed to, I was supposed to bring it home and use it with food and, be like smart about it. But instead, I ended up drinking half the bottle like that at Steelfest. And some people were like, what the fuck, crazy Finnish dude throwing his shirt off. I mean, of course, it was my alter ego, Marius, back in the days. So anyway, onwards, Mr. Satanic Hot Sauce went and created more hot sauces. And like I said, this one was done with the Horna guitarist, and here it is. Now, recently he asked me if I had already opened this one, and I was like, I was supposed to. I was making some delicious hamburgers, and I was supposed to open this bottle and just, taste it. And then I felt like, what the fuck? The people deserve kind of an unboxing thing. So here we are. We're going to unbox or unbottle this one, and I'm gonna taste it here live on the stream so that you get a little bit the different content than your other ones. Of course, I'm having beer of my favorite brewery, Coolhead. Not sponsoring this, by the way. I just bought this with my own money. I'm a sucker for weird kind of beers. For example, this one is, as you can see, um, Nordic Sour. So it's a sour beer with double fruited. I just had before starting the stream one of the really cool ones. This is really chill beer, mojito lemonade. Doesn't really sound like a beer, doesn't really taste like a beer, but kind of a mojito like sour beer. Really fucking good. And one of my all time favorites, which is waiting here for its turn, it's this salmiak licorice blackcurrant sour. Just had one of these a couple of days ago, and fuck, I love these kind of a sour beers. People should definitely send me more sour beers. Oh, joking aside. Anyway, cheers to you people having keeping me company in the stream. I hope you will be asking interesting questions. Oh, and now it's time to greet you people out there. SK, once again, nice to have you here. Also, narrated one of my favorite American. We have Brian Mons from Canada, if I'm not mistaken, and I have no idea where Hate Before to Dixon is coming from. But anyway, it's nice to have you guys here. So let's do this unbottling. But first, I will read your comments. Meth. You thought this was meth before instead of death, like meth breath. Well, kind of would make sense. I mean, it would be very blasphemous. Unfortunately, I have no idea, Scovilles. This text is very small. I'm not able to read it without my reading glasses on. I have no idea what it says. I will double check the Scovilles later on. But yeah, I was thinking also Wayne Gacy kind of a thing with the balloons and touching children, you know, nasty shit, and also murdering people. So maybe this is indeed blasphemy towards Jesus Christ through John Wayne Gacy. Oh, so anyway, I hope you will having a good time. And oh, by the way, no idea if this is made of ghost paper or Carolina Reaper or whatever. I think that information might be. Let's do a little bit googling. Satanic hot sauce, death breath. So let's see about it if it's mentioned. I can give you some. No, fuck. This it's just this Instagram, Twitter. It's not happening anymore, so it's not there. But Satanic Hot Sauce on Instagram saying it's only a couple of weeks till Death Breath of Golgotha is bottled. Hail Satan, eat peppers, but it doesn't really say which kind of peppers is being used. So somebody is also asking Satan's blood, Scoville, but it's Satan's blood that's different sauce. Well, no idea. Sorry. Sorry, brothers. I cannot really help you. Anyway, yeah, we'll check out those Scovilles for you later on. And yeah, Escape, doesn't matter if you're pussy. I don't really judge people how hot food they can eat. Doesn't really matter. This is not a contest. Some people don't like hot food at all, and it's totally fucking fine. But some people do, and I'm one of them, and it's nice. But it's not like I'm gonna call out people like, okay, can't you handle a little bit hot food? It's not for everybody. It's like a pineapple on a fucking pizza. Some people can't stand it, and some people fucking enjoy it. So that's it. That's it. But yeah, Nedred, you really logged in the early part of stream. Reading your comments, and then I'm gonna unbottle this one. Sriracha is, by the way, one of my favorite ones. It's not too hot, but the taste is fucking good. Sour beers taste all the same to you. That's a weird statement because, in my opinion, these are very, very different breeds. It's almost like comparing to Emperor or to Dogthrone and say, yeah, all Norwegian black metal sounds the same. But these are very different. For example, this one, I mean, of course, it's sour, but it is a kind of more fruity versus this mojito one being more mojito like. And this one is more berry like, not so much fruity. There's a huge difference. I mean, of course, they're sour, like lagers are lagers, but there's a huge difference in terms of taste. Hoppy red lager. Okay, interesting. Hoppy lagers are something that I do like, but normal lagers, boring. Oh, hello, Vladimir. Nice to have you here as well. Brian Monsis at night because of Kingdom Come Deliverance. God damn it. I'm sorry to hear. I've been playing lately Deathloop, but I promise to get back on streaming soon. And I, naturally saying, he's like 2 beers in the fridge. I have like 2 cases of Punk IPA up in the attic. And now that I'm relocating to Spain in a month, I don't know what will happen to my beer. They won't probably last for some 6 months. Anyway, hello Eduardo, how are you doing? The new Satanic War Master album, that's something we need to talk about. I just listened to it like 30 minutes before the stream for the first time. I mean, I heard it at Steelfest, but that's not really the right venue to listen to it. But today I listened to digital promo of Satanic War Master. I must say it's a tiny bit of disappointment. It's not as good as it used to be. Wasabi, by the way, SK, really, really good. Hector Garcia, Pandora Reunion, I'm all for it. I've seen Pantera myself in 1994 and 1998. That's when it was really good. I don't mind them coming back, of course, without the Abbott brothers. It's not exactly the same. And Netred, I can totally understand if you have been sipping similar tasting sours. Of course, that can be kind of a disappointing to have that stuff. I mean, sometimes those kind of albums come to me. This is fast. This is melodic, black metal, mediocrity. Next, and the next one is basically exactly the same. Not exactly, but too close to each other. To kind of make a difference. And no, I'm not getting that new Satanic War Master album. It's just not good enough for me, based on one listen. That is. And in general, by the way, I gotta say, raspberry sour beers are usually the best ones. Strawberry is not exactly as good. Hello, Sweden. Hello, Jonjared. I'm saying Jonjared because it's Swedish, not Jonjared. New Ymir album is actually pretty good. It's not as good as the first one, though, but it's still good. Solid, like you would say. I don't know why it's getting hot here. Maybe it's because of my second beer. Oh, Natred, you haven't missed anything. That relocation thing is something that I promised to tell you about on this stream. I have told it to close friends of mine, so they know that I'm moving to Spain. But let's just shake this Satanic hot sauce for a bit, so it doesn't just have a weird taste. Immortal is releasing a new album next year, I think in March, so not exactly soon. Cherry wants to WWE style wrestle bulls in the running in the bulls of Spain. No fucking way. I think Fimbulwinder was actually good, yeah. Hello, Roba. How are you doing? Gerald, as far as I know, Lauri does all the composing, but as a live, it's a full band. But I think the rest are more or less session members. I still have no feeling about the Misthirving album. I've never been a big fan of Icelandic black metal. But yeah. Happy Independence Day in 3 days. Next Tuesday is gonna be Finnish Independence Day. Okay, so let's stop talking crap for a little bit of a thing. I'm moving to Spain. I will discuss it later. I just wanted more people will be hearing about it. Okay, so let's break the seal. I'm using scissors here, so it doesn't take time too much. As you can see, it's fuck. Seals are fucking tight. I don't mean the animals. So let's just break it piece by piece. You know, piece by piece is underrated. Slayer song. In my opinion, it's one of the better songs on Rain in Blood, but it never gets credited because it's right after. Okay, it's actually opening up. Or almost. Almost. Okay, let's just destroy the seal. It's almost like this bottle is wearing a hat. Naturally, we are not escaping to NATO, and it's only temporarily moving to Spain, only for a few months. It's not like I'm permanently going away there, only for about 6 months, and then coming back to Finland. Okay, now it's breaking. Now we're making progress. Okay, it's by the way here. I'll just remove the seal completely, and voila! You see the horned pentagram right there in the seal. So let's remove the last parts of the seal. The only way to exit is going piece by piece, piece by piece. Fuck, I love that song. ¿Hablas español? Yo hablo español muy bien. No, un poco. Yo hablo español un poco. I'm trying to learn Spanish, but I don't speak it much. I mean, I'm gonna go on like, yo quiero comprar 2 cervezas and all that stuff. So yeah, but first, let's not talk about Spain for a bit. Here we have a Satanic Hot Sauce, Death Breath of Golgotha, designed by Infection of Horna, Finnish black metal band, and Kippis. Cheers. Oh, quite a kick. I'm not faking. Not the hottest out there, but yeah, this one is a punch. Oh, let's have another one. One for the team. So Japan actually had it. Ah, yep. To save the rest for some food. No bottoms up this time. So once again, here we have Jesus Christ looking like John Wayne Gacy with balloons and all that stuff, crucified. And if you like to have your hot sauce with some Satan, some black metal related to black metal, this is the stuff to do. This is good. It burns a little bit, not too much. Of course, it's way hotter than your sriracha, or I don't know what you might be comparing it to, Tabasco. This is way hotter than Tabasco or sriracha, but this is not like super hot. It's hot, but not super hot. I mean, you could just basically give a few drops to your hamburger, steak, and all that stuff. Good stuff. Once again, nice taste. It still burns a little bit now, more on the throat area than on the top of my my tongue. But yeah, nice flavor. Not too vinegar like, which is the problem with many hot sauces, because they taste way too much vinegar. You know, it's almost like There's nothing but hotness, the heat, punch, whatever you're gonna call it, and then vinegar. And that is not how I like it. I like when you can actually taste the peppers and certain level of sweetness. So it's kind of a sweet and hot, much like hell would be for us heathens. Anyway, now it's time to give my throat a little bit of a Nordic sour treatment. But a really, really good one. Yeah, food, man versus food. I've been thinking about doing that kind of a content on Rauta Beyond. Me versus food. I don't know would it make any sense, but because I like to test new stuff. For example, today I was making my own potato chips out of potato peels with my air fryer. And they turned out to be good. Very simple. I was just making mashed potatoes with some salmon. So I decided like whether I'm gonna toss these potato peels away, or maybe I could just dry them and throw them in the air fryer for some 15 minutes. Some oil, just a little bit of oil, some salt and pepper, and basically 15 minutes. Every 5 minutes, I would just like mix them a little bit so that they would just get a crispy on both sides. And then I was like, overall 15 minutes, and I was like, yummy, 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 yummy. Give me some fucking Rauta yummy. Oh yeah, very, very good. So that is it. Okay, now I'm reading your backlog comments while still having the burn in my mouth. Hello, hijo del sol negro. How are you doing? Hermamora, ¿qué pasa? ¿Tu encanta Rauta? Sí. And yeah, naturally, yeah, Angel of Death is fucking great, and Raining Blood, obviously. I mean, they are the best tracks on Raining Blood, but in my opinion, Piece by Piece is like Jesus Saves, fucking greatest song. So, not ready. Yeah, it's not a vacation. I will tell you more information about the relocation to um, Spain. So, definitely, we'll be living in Finland, but I will be moving to Spain for some 6 months. And Unzerad Rocks, yeah, this is Satanic Hot Sauce. It's a chili sauce with some black metal thing on it. Hey, he's asking what food comes with this sauce. I would say this is a perfect kind of a stuff if you like some, I don't know, hot barbecue food, hamburgers, even some grilled sausages. Maybe if you want to do some kind of a homemade Indian kind of food. And of course, Tex-Mex. Tex-Mex baby. Like Jairo Lambo said, he's here like a burrito, enchilada, all kind of tortillas, uh, nachos, tacos. I love it. If I had to live with like one type of food for the rest of my life, Tex-Mex would be fucking high on the list. That and pizza and burgers. But I mean, burgers are kind of the same eventually, and same goes for pizza. So I guess Tex-Mex could be it. So yeah, the taste was really good with this one, and I'm definitely looking forward to use it. Taste like hell. Yeah, yeah. If you like hell, that is. Friends of hell. Yeah, Dixon is asking if I have a iron stomach. I actually can stomach a lot of foods. I rarely get any kind of food poisoning whenever I'm traveling and all that stuff. So usually, whatever gets my stomach to turn around and like run hell to a toilet is like too greasy food. Like I was just having chicken wings with some kind of a hot vegan garlic sauce. It was the day before yesterday. It was really good, but by the afternoon, I just had to go to the toilet and like take a seating. Brian Mons is saying like the judge reminded of Balkan war criminal who poisoned himself while on trial. That's an interesting thing. All right, Finred, that's a good thing to know about not speaking Spanish. Bremon's Nordic treatment is a mojito lemonade. You were asking about this particular beer. So it's a Nordic sour kind of a beer. It's just had a kind of a mojito kind of a taste, but it's definitely a beer. Just a sour beer. Oh, by the way, now I can feel that, my fluids get moving. So it does that when you have a good hot sauce thing. You already figure out like your nose is getting emptied. What is traditional Finnish food? Mashed potatoes actually is very, very Finnish. Of course, meatballs and all kind of meat soups, really. From beef, quarter beef, like this Karelia stew, I guess. Karjalan paisti. I can imagine that the rosemary would work well with the fried potato peels. And of course, you have poron käristys, which is basically like kind of not exactly crispy, but kind of like overcooked reindeer meat. It's actually pretty good. I had it in Helsinki a couple of weeks ago. But well, that was actually deer, not reindeer, but still with mashed potatoes once again. All right. I'm going to read your comments in case you're wondering why I'm shutting the fuck up here. Hijo del Sol Negro, you're very right about strong alcohol killing the bugs, disinfecting the mouth. Yes, sir, Lab. I have done coffee reviews and beer reviews, apocalyptica included. So yeah, but I mean proper like me versus food things are not something that I haven't done yet. Well, Lettered, I don't know where the meatballs originated here, but I think probably came from Sweden. I mean, Sweden has given us quite a bit, being historically more important as marketplace and all that stuff. What the fuck? We have hipster black metal here. Congratulations. Nice to have you here as well. I hope that this will give you some ideas of content for your channel. By the way, you still haven't replied me back about the collaboration I asked you maybe already 2 years ago. But nice to have you here. IKEA is actually very good in terms of um, food for the money. I know it sounds ridiculous, but IKEA actually has good food versus the price. So while it's not exactly competing with, McDonald's and the like, it's still actually kind of a homemade food with very, very, how to say, competitive price. It's actually definitely decent stuff. I mean, it's not great fine dining experience, of course, but definitely something that is value for the money. Brian Mons, unfortunately, I haven't had a true cold coffee, so can't comment that. And hello, Masloth. Nice to have you here. Thank you for joining us, Heapster. Thank you for calling me a base Chad. Recently, I've been so fucking annoyed by a lot of people, calling all kind of a fascist and Nazi cards lately that I am almost like, why the fuck I'm giving people a chance? It's like my inner misanthrope has been growing up inside, and then I just realized, what the fuck do I care? Like, nothing is gonna change because of those fucking crybabies. So here I am, drinking beer, talking to you people. Yeah, Benji, you're goddamn right about Tex-Mex. Can't really go wrong with that. I have had quite a few Tex-Mex experiences in when I was in the United States, traveling as a fucking tourist. And yeah, there was some fucking solid stuff. I remember having some. Um, what the fuck is it? Not grasshopper, but well, you know what I'm talking about. Insects, anyway. In this taco, and it was nice, very fucking crispy. So yeah, enchiladas and huevos and rancheros. Riisipira con salmiakki, fucking great. That's that would be a nice trade. Yeah, you send me enchiladas and huevos rancheros, and I will send you riisipira con salmiakki and Karelia pie. Yes, not really. Of course, Italian made the best meatballs ever. Um, Toivo USG1 is asking my opinion about bands like Gorguts and Ulcerate and those dissonant avant-garde death metal bands. Most avant-garde metal can just fuck off out of my territory and lawn. Uh, Ulcerate is a little bit of a hit and miss band, in my opinion. But of course, there are bands which can totally do proper dissonant stuff. The problem, as with so many dissonant black metal bands, is that they lack good riffs. So they're trying to overcompensate the lack of good riffs by adding layers on top of layers on top of layers on top of layers. And that's everything like it's almost like some of those Portuguese raw black metal bands, which just have way too raw sound. And they're like, yeah, this is a real Burzum. This is real Ildiarn worship. And they're like, no, you don't have good riffs unlike Ildiarn or Burzum or Hot or some other raw black metal band has. So the thing here is, you really can't compensate for lack of good riffs. You really can't replace good riffs by adding dissonant vibe to it or just like shitty production. So there's that. But there are bands which can totally operate sounding dissonant and yet at the same time having this kind of a chaotic feeling, and once again, including good riffs. So there's that. And hipster black metal, I like that you are ready still to collaborate. So it would be cool to do some kind of content. If you have my contact information, feel free to get in touch with me. You can do it. Just I know YouTube doesn't have a private message function, but Instagram or Facebook or my email address will all come to me. I'm very active reading my messages all across the things. And of course, Rauta's Discord server is a good way to reach me as well. So no worries about blowing me off. I know sometimes we're way too busy, and sometimes we just um, forget to do things. So no harm done, no hard feelings. Hello, Zepkin. How are you doing? Uh, Astral Fortress review. Do I have an Astral Fortress in my review pile? What the fuck? No, I don't. So I don't know which album you're talking about. Um, now I lost it. once again, this back scroll. Here we are. Yes, SK, fuck those crybaby. I mean, there was this guy who was upset with some of my reviews. I mean, one particular review, this collaboration album, this four-way split in a way, which just had mediocrity all over the fucking place of two CDs. And this guy was so butthurt, like, you don't know how to do reviews. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's so. I mean, like, who I am to judge myself. I'm biased to, uh, comment my own reviews like, yeah, fuck yeah, I can do them. I was like, okay, well, what's wrong? And then he was bitching like how I don't describe the music or I have wrong opinions and blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, so I can't please everybody. That's not even my idea. I mean, whenever I get complaints that I do a shitty review, it's always a review that gets negative score. You know what I'm talking about? Nobody ever comes to like, hey, yeah, fuck, I hate your review where you gave 9 out of 10 to this great band I like. It's always a fucking band that someone loves. Someone out there is like, okay, this is one of my favorite bands, and you heard it. And now I'm gonna hurt you back. And I'm like, why do you even fucking care? If you like this band so much, why do you care what some fucking Finnish baldhead thinks about it wherever he resides? Like why do you give a fuck? I mean, if you already know the band, if you already know the album, you already know how it sounds like, why do you give a rat's ass if the reviewer agrees or disagrees with you? You like it, fine. The review guy didn't, too bad. Move on. There are plenty of other releases out there. But he kept bitching, and I started to basically ignore his points because he was repeating himself. He was basically saying the same points all over again. Like, let me put it this way. He said, like, you don't do blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, sorry, I didn't do blah, blah, or blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, saying them again. And I'm like, I already replied to that man. And then he's like already going back to that. And by this point, I'm like, okay, this guy is not reading what I write him back. I'm not being super apologetic. I'm just saying, like, okay, that album didn't resonate with me. It didn't click with me. I didn't like it. It was mediocrity all the way through. By the way, I gave this particular split like 5.5 out of 10. So very, very mediocre. Not bad, not good, but just in the middle. So it wasn't like I was destroying that album like this person claimed. Anyway, to fast forward to the very end. So then he was pitching like why I don't include lyrics in my reviews. Like, that's a big miss. And I was like, I tried it at one point, but nobody gave a damn, and it would be very time consuming for me to read those lyrics, in a way that I would actually go through them and like figure out like what the fuck this band is trying to say when it's all very occult, when it's filled with kind of a metaphors and analogs and all kind of a crazy statements. And I'm like, okay, I don't have the time for it. If you're a fan and you are interested in one of these albums I'm reviewing, giving you a little bit of idea. Okay, this band comes from Norway, doing melodic black metal as it was 1994 all over again. This is the third album, and the sound is pretty good, and the vocals are crazy, batshit, whatever. Blah blah blah. But the point here is, if you are interested, like, okay, this really sounds like an album I'm into, then you buy it. You don't need my take on the lyrics, like, these are really crazy, batshit, fucked up lyrics, or yeah, these are very intellectual, very intelligent takes on what's going on in the world of the occult nowadays. The point here is, if you like the album, you're gonna buy it and you can read for yourself. You don't need some guidance from some, I don't know, lunatic Finnish guy to just, explain those lyrics to you. So I was saying, like, no, I don't have the time for lyrics to go through them, to analyze them fully and blah, blah, blah. And nobody would watch it if I made some 30 minutes of a review video every fucking day. Nobody would have the time for it. And then he started bitching about some other things. And then I was like, okay, you probably have some other cool review videos on YouTube. Please, just give me links, give me names, and I will check those review channels and maybe learn a thing or two for myself in order to make better reviews. Now, guess what? This guy never replied back. Previously, he would reply in a matter of few hours. So suddenly, all his bitching ended when I'm saying, like, yeah, so give me an example of a channel that actually reviews bands like Abigor or this particular um, four-way split release. We're talking about underground black metal here, not Metallica or even Cannibal Corpse. We're talking about some fucking underground black metal stuff. And I know I'm not the only one doing that stuff. I mean, that's a given. But I know there are not too many people going with the pace I'm doing these reviews and all that stuff. My point here is if there are better guys or gals doing exactly the same as me, that's fucking great news. I hope there are plenty of people going to through these all these underground black metal releases or death metal, trash metal, whatever, and doing it a better way than me. I don't have to be the best. No fucking way. I know I'm not the best. But the thing here is, if there is nobody else doing that stuff, well, this is the best thing you are going to get. I wish I was better. Let's not lie about it. I wish I had more time to invest in all these reviews, that I could just read all the day the lyrics and fancy interviews and analyze everything like that, and this would be the number one metal channel in the world. But this is not. Let's be realistic. I have my day job, I have other hobbies, I have life beyond Rauta stuff, so I cannot like dedicate 30 minutes or 60 minutes for an album review, and nobody would fucking watch it. There would be like some one lunatic out there like who would watch all the videos no matter what I say, what I review, and all that stuff. My point here with this endless rant is I wish there were more dedicated people doing exactly what I'm doing, but doing it only better. Unfortunately, I don't see that happening because we live in a world that nobody can make their living doing metal reviews. Actually, making reviews don't even make much of a sense. There are plenty of labels and bands saying that, why do you even review stuff? Nobody gives a fucking damn about your reviews. And I kind of was like, yeah, except the bands and labels usually do give a damn. And there are always at least a couple of guys who are like, yeah, keep doing those reviews. But at the same time, I also know that my reviews are basically useless when there are channels like Black Metal Promotion, where you can actually listen to the music without just some random dude talking about it. Now, the only difference is that when you have like 3 or let's say 5 minute review videos, it's easy to just get the basic facts done and the description versus listening to each of these albums 47 minutes or so for a single album. Obviously, you don't have to go all the way through, but the point here is channels like Black Metal Promotion, which do great job and all that stuff, they cater to certain kind of needs and they have certain amount of bands. I have probably a lot of other bands. Some of these bands are overlapping, and this is the area where you will actually see the same amount of kind of underground bands, the bands that are there on the channel to be played, and the ones that I'm reviewing. But there are also other bands which are not making their way to the Black Metal Promotion. They might be bigger, they might be smaller, but there are a lot of bands which are not all over the place, as you know. And to give a little bit of a idea what I'm talking about, there was this talk on Rauta's Discord just yesterday when one of the regular dudes on the Discord were asking me like, okay, I know this album is coming out today and that album is coming out today. Are there any other albums coming out just today, like 2nd of December? And I'm like, did you know that Metal Archives actually has this list of upcoming releases? I'm like, no, I don't. So I was like, okay, let's see about it. So went to Metal Archives, opened this upcoming releases list, and decided to copy the lines of upcoming releases just for the 2nd of December. It was 95 metal albums. 95 metal albums only. On top of that, you have a world filled with all kind of country and pop music, rock music, whatever kind of music. But 95 metal albums on a single fucking day. And the next day, there is a new batch coming, and the day forward, blah, blah, blah. The point here is nobody has the fucking time to listen to 95 albums a day. let alone review it, let alone compare it to the previous works by the very same bands or same fucking genre. So one of the points this guy who didn't like my reviews was like you didn't even name drop some of the important names. I'm like, nobody has the fucking time to list like a dozen of names. And by the way, I don't even consider name dropping proper review. Like if you really can't describe a music album, release, whatever, or game, book, movie, theater play, whatever, for that respect. If you cannot describe a product, a release, or whatever without dropping names, you clearly don't understand what's going on. You have to understand so much about the genre that you can describe certain kind of music without mentioning the obvious names. You can't always say like, okay, this is raw end of black metal, Dog Throne. This is the kind of atmospheric black metal, Burzum. This is the kind of brutal death metal, Cannibal Corpse, and the like. You really can't go always back to those kind of household names if you cannot describe an album without listing the obvious names. You are not clearly doing it right. That's how I feel about it. Some people actually want those name dropping things, and that's fine. It's just not my style. Much like my interview style is not to go with a list of questions like, hey, I have this question about your band name, blah, blah. Fuck those lists. Some people do have a list and they are dependent on that. Some people want those name dropping things to be done, but that's not me. If you don't like my style, fuck off and die. That was a mandatory Dark Throne quote. No, seriously, I understand. Nobody has to like anything. That's kind of a given. My point here is with this endless rant is can't please everybody. And those kind of people get on my nerves because they're fucking useless. Instead of doing something productive, they just bitch online. So fuck them. And now it's my time to read the back scroll and get on with your questions and all that stuff. Brian Mons is sharing Jerry is a true chat. I know one chat and he's a powerlifter coach. A fucking cool one, by the way. Yeah, Hipster Bogman is totally right about Mexican food. Gains. Some really good stuff. Egg, salsa, meat, veggies. That's why Tex-Mex is so fucking awesome. A lot of taste and also good macronutrients. You know, you have veggies and fruits and whole grain products, or even just grain products, and also meat and well, delicious stuff. Naturally, you were saying that name them, Jerry. Name them all. What I'm naming. Hello, Chuck Huddy. How are you doing, man? Oh yeah, we need to talk about new Satanic War Master also. Oh, Hermamora is also asking what the kind of big expectations I have for new Satanic War Master albums. I just listened to the new Satanic War Master album, so I will talk about it. Hello, Jukka Vaskanen, morjesta päivää. But now I will read the back scroll comments and then I will tell you about the new Satanic War Master. Oh, Zepkin, I already talked about Astral Fortress on Rauta's podcast. That has been reviewed on that sense, but it won't happen on Rauta channel because obviously their label is not sending physical copies. So I'm not reviewing it on Rauta channel. Hello, Draconian. Yes, Nightrude, I have to talk about the lyrics. The lyrics of most metal bands are shite. The thing here is, a lot of bands don't have as cool lyrics that they are worth my time. And now, before you ask, yeah, I do wrestle with the very same topic when I'm writing lyrics for my own band, Nightside. And we are doing some new songs now, actually, exactly 1 week from now, here in my home city, Turku. We're doing a show, our second show after the comeback, or with the comeback. And we have 3 new songs. We have a new shirt coming up. I actually was supposed to show those new Nightside shirts and hoodies on the stream, but I already packed them in my car for tomorrow, so I won't be showing them to you today. I will add some photo or two on Nightside's Facebook page tomorrow when I have put those new merchandise clothes on my bass player. But yeah, the bottom line is, when talking about lyrics, when I write lyrics, I have to write lyrics that don't make me feel like an idiot. The point here is, I need to have a message I can stand behind of. Uh, I have to write lyrics that maybe they don't make so much sense to others, but they're supposed to make at level some kind of a sense. They cannot be some random words which are just like cool, taking out of dictionary and make me sound like a intelligent dick. The point here is, I am having some kind of a storytelling moment when I'm writing lyrics. They might not be the best lyrics out there. They might not be a great poem or whatever, but I am aiming for lyrics that actually make sense. They do make a fucking point. They might be a metaphorical ones, like in the new song. There's a this new demo which we're gonna record. There's a song called Gates of Hell, and the Gates of Hell is very, very metaphoric thing. It's not like literally I'm going to the biblical hell and to the through the gates. Some people are probably going to read those lyrics like that, and oh, once again we have that kind of a stupid satanic person, and he pretends that he's going to hell and he doesn't know that he's going to suffer. It's not about that. It's not like literally going to hell. But no more talk about that. But yeah, lyrics are important. And that's why I feel so fucking annoyed when a lot of bands, which might sound great, they might have great riffs, great vocals, great production, good evil feeling. Good evil feeling, you know what I'm talking about? And then you're reading the lyrics and you're like, okay, my face is melding. These are so goddamn fucking stupid. And of course, it's hard in black metal, even more so than, I don't know, if you're doing some kind of other kind of music. The thing here is, there are lots of lyrics that don't really fit in black metal, right? So you have one problem: you're limiting yourself a lot because you're doing black metal, and then you're supposed to sound like you have a some kind of a message, an idea, some kind of a sensible set of ideas that you want to say, but they have to be in the black metal context. So instead of writing some of your very generic stuff, what like Dark Funeral is saying, like, okay, come forth the evil winds, bring those black clouds of Satan, let the lightning, cross the kingdom of heaven. We are here to conquer with our fucking demon army. And you're reading those kind of lyrics and like, yeah, they kind of sound like when I was like 18, you know. But these guys are like now 40. The point here is, those kind of random generated lyrics are easy to do. And how do I know? Because I just randomly generated those, lines here. They're not the real lyrics of what I'm writing about. The point here is, it's easy to kind of, write down some kind of a basic black metal lyrics, which are just next to nonsense. Very fitting to the context, but once again, don't really make a sense. So, yeah, writing lyrics is hard. Writing good lyrics, even harder. Oh, and thank you, Brian Mons, for your feedback regarding my reviews. Thank you. I hope my reviews are helpful, and if they're not, well, shoot me. I have actually never, I think, given any band 1 out of 10, but I have given 1.5 out of 10. I have always kind of waited for this 1 out of 10 album to appear. Maybe in hindsight, I have should given more ones, 1 out of 10s. And even some 2 out of 10s probably should have been 1 out of 10s, but yeah, can't change it now. But I've kind of tried to be optimistic, like think like maybe this album is not that bad. It's super bad. It's like super bad, like 2 out of 10. But it is like most horrible shit like ever. Not really. I mean, every fucking band has at least something tiny amount of positive. So I tried not to crush albums for fun. Yeah, you I get your point. It's totally fine to do that. Oh, nice to hear, Dixon. That is one of the problems when talking about or making reviews when talking about metal is to how you can cater to the needs of the newbie and how you cater to the needs of the veteran, because they're two totally different things. For example, if I have this random black metal album here, which is, well, this is a random black metal split I have here in my review pile to be reviewed next week or so. Anyway, I will use this as an example. You're like, okay, I have this four-way split here ready to be reviewed. As you can see, this is not even wrapped just yet. So how I'm going to explain this that the newbie to the genre will understand what I'm talking about. How can I explain this four-way split to a veteran in such ways that he's not super bored to the very end? Like, how is this review going to be useful? I'm trying to give out the basic facts. I'm trying to give idea of what this album, split or whatever, is all about. But I cannot go to the super detailed level because once again that would be way lengthy. Nobody has time to watch some 45 minutes album analysis. So you have to kind of get into the point relatively quickly. And then you have to explain what it's going all about so that the newbie understands, but also so that the veteran doesn't have to face palm all the fucking time. And that's the balance where you try to do things, trying to be funny and relaxed while you do review, but also critical. You have to have that critique. Like you just can't say like, yeah, I just got this album, very nice. If you like this kind of music, I don't know what to say really. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. What the fuck is that useful for? The thing here is you have to have a criticism. You have to be able to say like, I fucking love this album, but they're putters. Or when you're super critical, like this album is full shite, but usually there is at least one but. So describe and be honest about it. That's pretty much all you can do about an album. You cannot really please everybody. There's no point in trying to even do that. All right, anyway, I'm ranting once again. Let's go with the questions and everything. Luckily, your comments are not too much in mass and quite short. Yeah, Brian Mons, that's why I like BMP. I don't personally use it, but because I don't really listen to music on YouTube, I don't need that with hundreds of review albums pouring in. But I mean, it's very useful for people to check out new music. SK, thank you so much for your comment. Yeah, I know it promotes music and it's good for that, but maybe not beyond that. Yes, Shefkin, I already commented that Astral Fortress thing. It was reviewed in Rauta's podcast. Tabasco is asking me about any progress on getting the Goat Moon interview. I actually got it replied like a year ago, over a year ago, like August 2021. That Black Goat told me that he doesn't want to do that interview. And I've replied that many times, but I guess people haven't been really seeing that information. So I don't see a Goat Moon interview happening for any time soon, if ever. Shepkin, you can find Rauta's podcast on Spotify as well as Rauta's Patreon site. Hello, hello, Charles Charm. How are you? Thank you, Benchy, for your comment about the reviews. Dixon, I can review your album if it's a physical copy. Yeah. Lot Tepes indeed is good French black metal. Oh, Benchy Leipäjuusto is fucking great. Oh, Brian Mons, November stream. God damn it. Yeah, this is December stream. I need to rename the chat. Fuck. Good point, Brian. Thank you. And yes, SK, I've said that no Goat Moon interviews happening at pretty much every fucking stream for more than a year now. Since I was getting the answer from Black Goat in August 2021. So it's been like 14, 16 months now that I've been explaining that Goat Moon interview is not happening. Shepkin, I think the Dark Throne review is in the last Rauta podcast episode we have made. So far, the last, my co-host, who is the drummer of Archgoat, is on a tour now for at least 3 weeks, so we haven't done new episodes. Yes, Natharet, maybe you're right about people having time to do 8-hour videos on Skyrim or whatever. But the thing here is also, I know that people have time when the topic is important enough. For example, if I do Inquisition interview and it's like 60 minutes, people will find time for that. But if it's a no-name band and I'm reviewing it, people are like, I'm not gonna spend 6 minutes on a video of an unnamed band. It's a Marduk review. People will suddenly click, 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 click. It's I don't know, Enwa review, same thing, or Behemoth, Cradle of Filth. Bigger names, more views. Very fucking simple. And my rating on Cielo Viholinen split, the previous one. Are you asking me or SK? Hello, Wolf Maula. Oh, see ya, Nedred. Okay, so reading your back scroll, time to pop up another beer. And we are already 1 hour in. Now it's time to get Salmiak Licorice Black Currant Sour. 5 out of 5 if you ask me. So now talking about not really is missing it. So about new Satanic War Master album. I just listened to it 30 minutes prior to the stream, and it's not as great as the previous Satanic War Master albums, in my opinion. Now there won't be probably a proper review of it because I know Satanic War Master himself doesn't really believe in reviews. He's not going to send albums for review because he thinks, I guess, it's useless. This is what he said to me a couple of years ago. So I stopped asking him for review copies and decided, okay, if he doesn't believe in reviews, then don't send review copies. I mean, that's as simple. He said, like, he's only promoting via digital copies. So that's how I get the new Satanic War Master album. And while it sounds kind of a solid for a lot of bands compared, that is, the new Satanic War Master album is actually like quite good and definitely listenable and all that stuff. But to me, it sounds like many of those German bands that are trying to copy um, Finnish black metal style, like somewhat melodic, kind of a grim, not super raw, but a little bit harsh and crude instead of like super clean and nice and melodic and blah blah blah. You know how Satanic Warmaster style is. Not exactly raw, but rawer than say your Emperor or Dimmu Borgir or whatever. And this is basically what the new Satanic Warmaster album is all about. It sounds like Satanic Warmaster, but it's almost like a little bit diluted version of Satanic Warmaster. So it kind of sounds disappointing. It's not as mind blowing as it could have been. To me, it sounds like much like Saturicon's later albums. Like the first album's like, wow, Satyricon really killing it, and the later albums declining, and now it seems like Satanic Warmaster has started its decline. I'm not saying it's a bad one or mediocre one. It's good, but compared to the previous Satanic Warmaster albums, this new album just sounds a little bit disappointing. So I would say don't get your hopes too up high. Just expect it not to be as good as some of the previous Satanic Warmaster albums, and you're good to go. Style wise, nothing has changed too much, but quality wise, I would say it's a tad bit worse in a way. Benji, Love Tepes, I don't claim I have heard everything out there, but given that Vlad Tepes didn't have too extensive discography, I don't know if it matters which album you go with. It's kind of a, well, raw end of black metal. So if you don't like one or two albums, I don't know if more listens will change that. Much like Judas Iscariot in that sense. Interview with Niklas Quarfort might happen. That has been also agreed maybe 2 years ago. And a friend of mine is actually very good friends of Niklas. There are at least a couple of friends. Might happen. But the thing here is, Niklas is in legal troubles in Finland. He was recently in court for physical abuse and other things. So I don't know if he will serve some time. And he might be also trying to dodge law enforcement here in Finland. I don't know what's the current state of things, but he was in legal troubles. Not just, like some small ones, but serious ones. Like there was this rape accusations and all that stuff. So Niklas Quarfort might be out of the window for quite some time. But I already planned a couple of years ago to do Shining interview because Niklas Quarfort of Shining is living in Finland these days. So let's see how it happens. Yeah, Kippis. Cheers, Benji. Taste this one if you have the possibility. Fucking great taste. Yeah, actually, today we were talking about Satyricon, about like some people don't even like Satyricon that much. And I said it's much like the entry level of Norwegian black metal. But I think the early albums of Satyricon are really, really good ones. But after the third or fourth or fifth album, started to decline quite a lot. So late Satyricon album was not that great. But early ones, I do like them a lot. Yes, okay, one of the things why, by the way, Goldmoon doesn't probably want to do interviews is the political attacks he would be getting, because he knows that I would be asking about NSBM stuff, and I would be asking about far right politics and all that stuff. Even though I'm not a political person, I would fucking ask about them, and that might be like too bad for him. It might be good for my channel, also bad for my channel to ask so-called neo-Nazi guy. But like I have said, always said, it doesn't matter whether you come from far right or far left. I'm ready to pick your brain. I don't necessarily even judge you, whatever you do, be it far right, far left, or far fucking whatever. But I don't also like agree with all those bands I am interviewing. And same goes for reviews. What SK said about like maybe Satanic Warmaster doesn't need to even criticize his music, and that is partially true. But interviews are still possible. Hello, Reese Simons. Where are you from? No, Brimons. I think Satanic Warmaster reviews will be there. He just doesn't want to spend his money on physical copies. He doesn't think sending a physical copy will create any extra value. I think. Well, Silver Snake, it's proven that Nicholas Quarford has mental illness. As far as I know, at least some kind of a bipolar mentality. Also, he has serious trouble with drugs. So, yeah, like Ramon said, maybe it's a little bit both. But there are mental illness things happening in Nicholas Quarford's head. SK, yeah, I think you're right about Satanic Warmaster with alienating and all that stuff. And he has been trolling and annoying a lot of people out there, but that's part of his charm anyway. Charles, definitely Dawn. But then again, I haven't been listening to Winterland for a long, long time. So there's not like fresh recollections in my head. Yeah, SK, I totally got you later on with SW. But I think your comments apply to both Satanic Warmaster and Goat Moon. Yeah, Benji, definitely. Sometimes fresh take on a band is actually refreshing. Sometimes what you didn't like previously, you might like later on. Has happened to me many times. It can also go the other way. Sometimes you revisit some older classic, the ones that you liked some 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and then you come back like figuring like, wow, I've been listening to this band for quite some time, and then you're like, man, this isn't that good. I'll tell you a story, and there will be a classic review of this. I recently listened to Ulver's Bergtat album 4 times in a row or so, and whenever I come back to that album, I always remember why I sold my Bergtat CD years and years ago. It starts in a fantastic ways, but towards the end, I kind of like, yeah, this is not as good. The early part of the album, A side, if you will, fantastic. The B side, yeah. So my point here is there are albums which you remember liking, but then you kind of get rid of them because you didn't like them that much in the end. And for me, Bergdahl is one of those. Actually, I don't have a single Ulver CDs anymore. I used to have like the three first ones. Then I get rid of them. Never was that important of a band for me. When it comes to Judas Iscariot, I did the my ranking video, the worst to best of Judas Iscariot recently, and it's still one of my favorite USBM bands of all time. So I say, yeah, check out Judas Iscariot. There are weak points, surely, but it's still one of the better bands from US playing black metal. Yes, I remember you were talking about. Now I actually figured out who are you. I didn't actually figure out earlier when you said some comments. The juicy part of Steelfest was something like very weird um, comments. Like, what the fuck does it even mean? So, hard to say for real what choosy kind of Steelford promotion is. Now, one thing I don't know if you do know, but I can say it here. The boss of Steelfest and Lauri of Satanic Warmaster, they really, really good buddies. I think they just became good friends over the years when Steelfest has been there. Um, so yeah, they are good friends. I think the Steelfest lineup for next year is really good. Pretty much the same level of this year, but it all always comes down to individual tastes. You know, whatever bands you kind of like and all that stuff. But there are lots of bands on the next Steelfest lineup that I'm really stoked for. And yeah, the 2020 lineup for Steelfest was better, definitely. But the thing here is then the Steelfest cancellations, when the woke people woke up and there were lots of threats. And that's when bands started to cancel their participation for Steelfest. Silver Snake has a really, really interesting question. What is the first black metal album that you listened to? I don't know. To be honest, I don't know what is my first black metal album I listened to. But among the very first one, and now this goes all the way back to roughly 1993 or 1994. I remember listening to Bathory compilations, but they're not albums, mind you. So I would say probably 1994. I remember Rotting Christ ones being among the first ones I heard. And some Doctrine, I think, around 1994. Suomi Finland Perkele by Imbel Nazarene was one of the first ones. Storm of the Light's Bane by Dissection, but that was probably 1995. So can't really remember the names I had there 1994. But Rotting Christ is at least one of the very first ones with Non Serviam and Thigh Mighty Contract. The juicy means like juicy pussy. That's what he meant. Sexy. Brian Mon's Enstile is definitely a weird first black metal band. Yeah, I will be talking about this Ulver Bergdat in the classic review, which is supposed to be out in a couple of weeks. I'm checking out my calendar here, my Rauta calendar, because otherwise I just wouldn't remember. Next week I'm supposed to put out this Nordic Metal Cruise video, so Ulver album is supposed to be my last classic review album of the year 2022. Alrighty, and yeah, I just noticed that I had planned another classic review album for the 31st of December. But of course, that cannot be a review, a classic review day. It's gonna be the end of the year recap. So I'm writing a note for myself so I can ask my thumbnail guy, Chris, to do a thumbnail. Satanic Bogler is asking, hell, and by the way, greetings. What do you think of Absu? I already made Absu worst to best video um, a few months back. I will give you the link in case you wanna. No, that's 2 years ago. God damn it. So I will give you the link to the Abzu video. Here it is. Benji, Transylvanian Hunger, 10 out of 10. Yeah, Brian Mons, I don't know why I gave up with Ulver when they changed style from metal to something else. A lot of people, a lot of friends actually praised Ulver, but I think I had the phase in my life when I didn't have the open mind for that kind of stuff. So I figured Ulver is abandoning metal. I'm abandoning Ulver, pretty much. Silver Snake is asking if I watch real gore movies. No, I don't really watch gory stuff. It's not like I can't handle gory stuff. I actually can totally respect gory stuff when it's in a context of a show or movie. Like House of the Dragons, by the way, my review needs to be done. House of the Dragon series, this Game of Thrones spin-off, had really gory parts, same as The Boys TV show, which I fucking love. They're really, really violent stuff. But it's not like, you know, how to say it. The gory stuff has to be part of something. It just can't be like it's justifying itself without a reason, you know. So it has to be kind of a way to tell a story, part of the story. So gory stuff is good, but if it's gory for the just for the sake of it, it gets me fucking boring. I mean, what's the point of it? Like, let's go super gory. Doesn't really mean a thing, you know. I mean, if I want to see something that actually makes me like feel uncomfortable, just check out those CCTV videos of people being stabbed or shot to death. I'm talking about real life violence. And by the way, I do not recommend you to do that. The only reason why I did that at some point was because it was very much related to our self defense classes. You know, me being one of the instructors. Um, in order to figure out how the violence dynamics is in real life, if you do watch those CCTV movies where people are being like stabbed, not necessarily to death, but like still, or someone is, you know, robbing a grocery store with like a gun pointing ahead and then some shooting or stabbing happens, they are the real shit. You know, it's not acted. But gory stuff, it's just like, okay, yeah, these guys are being creative, how to add layers of cool FX to the movie. I mean, is that the only point? So that's why I have a hard time enjoying horror movies. They just bore the shit out of me way too often. I mean, it's not real horror, it's just gore and violence, and that can go really boring. But when you watch some real life serial killer stuff, it should give you like goosebumps, shivers down your spine. Najgor, I'm not sure if I have heard their late albums. The name rings a bell, but I don't know if I have heard it. The late ones, that is. Yeah, Benji. For a long time, I felt like Under a Funeral Moon is my favorite Dark Throne album for like 2 decades, and now I know I like Transylvanian Hunger even more. There are lots of people, by the way, who like Soulside Journey and who think that Dark Throne changed their style to worse when they started doing black metal. Um, I probably cannot do the Nordic Metal Cruise next year because I will be in Spain, which reminds me I should be talking about it. But Nordic Metal Cruises are definitely fun. Yeah, Mutilation is a good band from France also. Hello, Walker. Nice to have you here for the first time. I hope you're having a good time here. You're coming to Finland next year. All right, welcome. I will punch you in the face. Oh, kidding. I will won't punch you in the face. I will punch you in the stomach. No, that was also a bad joke. Steelfest. Yes, feel free to come. Talking about northern Spain, I will be relocating to southern Spain. Now it's time to talk about it. I mentioned it already earlier in the stream, and I promised to come back. And now 90 minutes later, I'm actually going to do it. So by the end of month, I will be traveling through the Europe, through Germany and France to Spain. The trip is supposed to take about 7 days, and by the time I'm done with the traveling part, I should be in southern Spain for roughly about next 6 months until the early June, and when I'm coming back to Finland. So people who are supposedly send me review materially, like CDs, vinyl, whatever, review for Rauta. I hope they're not sending blindly their albums to my current address, because if they're going to do that, the mail will be here for the next 6 months. And if it's something that I need to go to the post office while I'm not here, well, obviously it will be returned to the sender. So, yeah, I will be away from Finland roughly 6 months. However, I have already made plans to go to Inferno Festival in Oslo during the Easter time, and also Steelfest in May, where I hope to meet Mr. SK and share beers and good time. I also hope that A is coming to Steelfest, and well, whoever right there, you right there, is coming to Steelfest. Pull me by the sleeve. Let's have some good times, drinks, see some great gigs, and just general good times, good talks, and all that stuff. Maybe you will even see a glimpse of Martti. And if you don't know who Martti is, I'm not going to explain. Dixon, you're always very much content related when you're talking about workout. Now, basically, I always try to just keep it in like a rough idea of macros. Personally, I'm a big believer in having enough carbs in order to fuel your body and workout. There are lots of people who say like fuck carbs, go low carb, no carb, and you just can eat all the fat and protein. While we are probably very much on the same page with those people when it comes to protein, I'll try to make sure that I eat enough food, mostly meat when it comes to protein, but also dairy products, including low fat quark, uh, so that my protein intake is big enough. Now, I've never been, as you can see, I'm not that big of a guy, you know. I've never been that much into hypertrophy, that is building muscle. So I don't exactly count my macro nutrients, but I'll try to focus on keeping the fat relatively low, because I would hate myself if I had a big belly, you know, the kind of a beer belly. I try to keep my stomach quite flat, you know. I don't have a six pack if that's what people are asking, but I would like to be closer to that six pack guy than this beer gut guy. So I'll try to keep fat relatively low, and that's why I'll probably eat more lean meat than any other kind of a meat. That is, I mostly eat chicken and protein apart from meat and eggs. Like I said, I eat those quark, low fat but high on protein, and of course I have my protein shakes. After workout, I also have whey, protein powder in with my quark. So I have a rough idea how much protein I'm taking on daily basis. Now there are days when those kind of things are not happening properly. Includes when I'm having a little bit of beer here on the side. This is not about getting drunk, but my point here is like today I went for a pizza after my bench press day. Now I know that with pizza I'm getting too much fat in my body and not like the ideal amount of protein because when I'm done with the pizza, I ate half of it and I will after the stream I will eat the other half. The thing is, I'm so stuffed after eating a pizza that I'm probably not remembering to eat more protein later on. Unless when I'm going to bed, I will have more protein quark. So I have a rough idea how much protein I'm having and how much carbs and fat. But like I said, I don't really measure. I mean, I do have this kind of a daily basis scale. I can just put the food right here to figure out how much it weighs and then calculate the amount of protein or whatever. But I also happen to have it here in my man cave versus kitchen so that when I'm mailing SK for here example, his monthly Rauta Patreon CD, I get to measure the weight of the envelope. So I actually do that more than weighing my food. So I hope this gives a little bit of idea what I'm talking about. Agent Robocock is asking what are my favorite genres of black metal: pagan black metal, folk, atmospheric, Viking, epic, war metal, etc. First of all, I think war metal is more like worst of both worlds, black metal and death metal. I like my death metal separated from black metal in general. So I'm not a big fan of war metal. I'm not also a big fan of atmospheric black metal because I think a lot of atmospheric black metal are too much on the side of being beautiful and building up the atmosphere, and they're not exactly the next version. So I'm more into the raw end of black metal, kind of a primitive but also violent stuff, like Marduk. And while Marduk is not as fierce, maybe as some war metal bands, at least they have better riffs. So they're not just overly compensating for the lack of good riffs with just more speed and power and fast tempo. And pagan or epic black metal, they can be just atmospheric stuff or more folkier stuff. No, so I'm not a big fan of folkier black metal stuff. There are bands which do folk stuff really nicely, but most of them are not my favorite kind of stuff. So I guess in general I could say I'm more into old school black metal, that is Celtic Frost, Bathory, and the like, and that includes some trashier parts. You have to remember that I come from also a strong thrash metal background. And on top of that, the raw end of black metal, which means the kind of a primitive and less honed, less polished black metal, like Dogthrone, for instance. So I guess those two would be my favorite black metal. One of the key elements for winning me over for a black metal band is to have very dark and sinister atmosphere. And I don't know if that even counts as a sub genre of black metal. I don't think there is a subgenre of black metal going, hey, this is sinister or evil sounding black metal. So rather go with the adjectives by describing what kind of black metal, for instance, I like. For me, themes like epic black metal or Viking or pagan black metal, it's more about the topics they're dealing with rather than describing the music. So, for instance, there could be a Viking black metal band that sounds like Marduk, fierce and aggressive, yet with Viking themes. And there could be Viking metal bands which is just very folky, like, Einherjar or Enslaved or whatever. So, there's my answer to your question. Silver Snake is having a bunch of good questions today, and one of them is, do you think in life after death? No. I think there will be emptiness. That is nothing. This is my guess. I don't know. So I don't have a faith in after death, and that is very comforting. Once we're dead, that's it. Nothing is happening in our lives so much. Oh, cheers, Brian Mons. Take care, and nice to have you here once again. Have a good day. Yeah, Benji, I totally agree with you. The story about real life violence and all that stuff. It can be really, really brutal. Hello, Nocturne. How are you doing? 166 centimeters tall. Are you a guy or gal? I mean, if you're a guy, you are really short. I feel sorry for you. I mean, I'm 174 and I've never been the biggest guy in the room. Ackerbelts, yeah, definitely having beers, not punching. Nocturne, I'm happy to hear that your obesity has gone down. So, really good. Yeah, chocolate is a good guilty pleasure. I can totally understand that. Hey, you hate food. What's wrong with you? You do sports. You need to have some food. I am personally not big in food in terms of that's not what I really like. I mean, I do like food in a social context. Don't get me wrong. I do like eating with friends. Do I like eating by myself? Not so much. If I could just inject all the macros in my body without having to eat, I would be fucking happy. If I could just drink all the nutrition, like in water, like just add protein or whatever, vitamins, I would be happy to do that. SK, the new D666 album review is happening as soon as I get my copy from Season of Mist. They confirmed that the album has been sent to me. And the new album is good, by the way. I heard already the digital version, digital promo, maybe 2 days before the album was out, maybe one day. But yeah, it's good. It's solid D666. It's very, very heavy metal. In my opinion, maybe more heavy metal than what they have been before. And hello, Waldman. Nice to have you here. Yeah, Benji. Merciless is one of those old school names in that sense as well. Silver Snake is asking also if I listened to Lucy Fugum band from Ukraine. I only remember it by name, but I haven't remember listening to it for years. I just have a vague recollection. It's supposed to be quite good, but I really can't say. It's been years since I listened to it. Waldman, you already lost your drummer. What the fuck? Dixon, unfortunately, I don't know any black metal bands that speaks in tongues. Nocturne, okay, so 166 7 meters is not for a guy. I have a cousin who is roughly your length, tallness, and yeah, I mean, it's not much. But let's be honest about it. We need to talk about the elephant in the room. It's not much, but it doesn't matter if you're a cool guy. So it doesn't matter if you're tall or not. You can't be taller with your presence. You know what I mean? You don't have to be tall guy to be the tallest guy, the biggest guy in the room, you know? So it's all about your presence. Once you have that confidence and once you have the presence that everybody's fucking ready to stare at you and not with the negativity, but like, hey, I'm this cool guy here and I fucking know it. They fucking know it. The tallness or the lack of it doesn't matter. It's all about how you present yourself. So don't tell anyone, don't let anyone fool you about it. But yeah, there is challenges definitely when you're not exactly some basketball player. But let me be honest about it. There are also people who wish that they were not that tall. So with tallness, there are other problems than being short. Imagine going to a plane 2 meters tall. So there are perks of being a little bit smaller, so to say. 5 feet 6 inches. Yeah, I think it's probably 166, 165, something like that. Obenji is listening to some old Greek black metal. Cool. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're short or tall. What matters what goes in your brain. Yeah, Agent Robocock is asking me if I'm into pagan black metal. Definitely. Of old money, I understand. Musical differences can be hard topics to tackle for real. Hey, really? Are they that short? Well, I would have their chance with the ladies, me being 174 and all. You know, talking about Steelfest and other festivals for that matter, what is really cool is to meet a lot of you guys there. The thing here is what I've learned throughout the life, and what is also part of the reason I'm doing all this Rauta content is that when you find like-minded people, when you find people that you feel comfortable, sharing stories with, spending your time with, and having good talks with, that's priceless thing. So whenever people you're coming to Steelfest or Inferno, wherever you spot me, if I'm not busy doing some kind of an interview or whatever, always feel free to poke me for a talk. And a lot of people already do that, and it's cool. Like for example, here my friend SK, um, he has been following Rauta for a lot of time, and we have messaged each other over the years many times, and it's really cool. For example, I've never met the guy, and yet I am hoping him to come to Steelfest so we can actually finally shake hands, have beers, cheers, watching the same bands, catching up in real life. Because I feel there are people like him and me, we click. I guess the same thing is with Benji, the same thing is with A here. Uh, Waldman, I bet we would get along fine. I mean, if we wouldn't, you probably wouldn't be even, following the stream here. My point here is, even though I sometimes have these misanthropical moments when I feel like fuck all mankind and fuck every fucking individual on this planet, me included, I still am a very social person. And I'm a firm believer in communities such as, metal people having like-minded thoughts and having good times together. That might sound like some ideological bullshit to a lot of people, those who don't believe in comradeship, friendship, or just being with like-minded friends. That's okay, by the way. There are places for those kind of people. But if we go back to some 30 years, 40 years ago, And I'm talking about people like Euronymous. I didn't get to know him personally, but I know the type. Those guys were socializing among the like minded people. They had their own circle. They probably had some far fetched ideas, flying up high. But the point here is they also shared some good times, good comments, and good talks with one another. My point here is we are, in the end, social animals. And as such, being the kind of a herd animals, when we find people who really feel like I'm clicking with that guy or gal, like we like each other. I don't mean like, hey, let's get into a relationship and move together and let's get married. But like, yeah, this is the guy I'm having good time with. This is a person who I can have meaningful conversations with. This is the guy I can actually invite to my home or hotel room for after drinks. And I know by the time we're done, we both had good time. This is the kind of comradeship I'm talking about. And there are lots of us who just, you know, feel like it's fucking great. Like at Midgard's Plot, I met this guy who was there as my cameraman, introduced to me by our mutual friend. I had no idea whether or not this guy is going to be cool as fuck or as annoying as fuck or just something between. No, he and me, we clicked. We had good talks. We had a lot of smiles. We both had a kind of a cynical view on life. We had some cool time. And then, for example, A here popped up and sitting down on the very table. We were having good talks. I don't know if A actually picked that good chemistry we were having. But the thing here is, you don't get to have too many of that kind of friends. Friends that you feel like, hey, this is a person who totally understands me. And I think A here understands me very fucking well. My point here is to say it's really cool that I have made some kind of a connection with you people right there. And I'm not saying this to brown nose you, just like I'm not talking to you just because you're following the stream. I'm talking to you people here because I feel we have this comradeship in a way. Maybe I am just, you know, channeling my own ideas here, and maybe I'm imagining things too much. But like I said, I'm a firm believer in community sense between people who click, people who feel comfortable with one another, having good conversations. That's something that we people should cherish. We should fucking embrace it because it's not given. We might live among the assholes, knowing that right across the world, in some other continent, some other country, there are people who are actually fucking great, even if all the people outside of, nearby are fucking annoying. I don't know if my rant here makes any sense, but I hope it does. So, back to answering your questions. Agent Robocock is asking if I'm into indie games or modern Metroidvania. No, personally, not so much into Metroidvania. Indie games or AAA games. Doesn't matter if the game is good. I think I have Shovel Knight in my downloaded game somewhere, but haven't played it. Then again, you have to understand that I come from a generation who had nothing but indie games back in the days of Commodore 64, so not exactly into retro gaming that much. All right, Nocturne. You do that. Old money, yeah. I'm sure we will have good time when we meet. Nocturne has weird comment. I also have small feet. Weirdest detailed I have read entire evening. Yeah, Dixon. Some people might call it gay when people, men, are talking to one another in a fashion that they bond with. And in Finland, we have this sauna. Everybody goes in fucking naked, and there is nothing gay about it. It's just fucking natural. We are in the terms. I mean, there's a word for it. We are tribal. We're in a way we are a fucking metal tribe. Some might sound romanticized version of what's going on, but I think tribe is exactly what describes us in a very good ways. Yeah, okay. As soon as you get the vacation done, you're fucking ready to do it. Please elaborate. What are altar core boots? Yeah, Agent Robocop, you're probably right. The true antisocial people aren't into black metal. Black metal is way more social than people giving credit to. Silver Snaking is asking if I had read Kybalion. No, haven't. My opinion about occultism is way too big thing here. I am kind of a fascinated by occult, but then again, I also know that a lot of people into occult seem to be, I don't know, as if they were some kind of a cheap ass wizards, if you ask me. Yes, hey, I know we met earlier at Midgard's plot than during the table, but it was the same day. Wasn't that the day before? I'm confused here. Nocturne, I'm happy to hear that you've been subscribing to the channel for 3 years. Cheers to that. Thank you, Better of Burning. I'm glad that makes sense. Thank you, Waldman. Thank you, Benchy, as well. And thank you, Nocturna. I'm happy to hear that I'm not the only one sharing this tribal social moment with you people. And why I'm explaining in such lengths is that I know a lot of people think that because you're in black metal, you're supposed to be super misanthropic. You're supposed to hate all the human beings out there and blah, blah, blah. But we know it's partly just a big ass myth, you know. Not supposed to be taken super serious, even if Euronymous seemed like this intimidating person. Yes, metal, all purpose in life. There is this a good TV show called Ted Lasso. It's all about soccer. The team might suck, but the series is good. And there is this funny soccer or football player who says, "Football is life." That's where I got this idea saying what I have said in some of my replies to some video comments. Metal is life. That is our fucking life. I mean, no matter what I do, like for my day job or whatever I do with some of my non-metal friends, I still think metal is life. That's why I've been in the band since 1994. That's why I've been listening to metal since the 80s. That's why I do content like Rauta. That's why I do lift metal. No, that's a joke. But I mean, listening to metal, writing about metal, talking about on metal on videos, doing those interviews, going to festivals, all that shit. If it wasn't for, like a life, thing I wouldn't be doing. If I was just a random casual listener listening to radio, I wouldn't do this kind of content. I wouldn't be here talking to you. I wouldn't go to festival. I would be just happy listening to radio and, you know, wouldn't be a metal fan, wouldn't be a music fan even. So yeah, metal, our purpose in life. Metal is life. Dixon, don't be awkward about. You can just say whatever you want on the Discord. Rauta Discord is for people like us to socialize, to talk, exchange ideas. That's what it's all about. Better of Birding, I don't have a favorite producer in black metal genre because there's so many different styles. I mean, in death metal, it would be easy to say names like you mentioned, like Dan Svara or Peter Dekren. But in black metal, I don't think I have a name for like that, like black metal sound, because it can be very necro sounding stuff, which I like, but also some nicely produced stuff. So can't say I have a black metal producer in my head. But yeah, Peter Tekren has been doing black metal as well. For example, he had his own band called The Abyss, and of course, he has been producing that as well. And of course, other bands probably done in his own Abyss studio. Benji, that sounds like a good beer bar. Just teleport me over there and let's go to Maryland have some beers. Yes, Nocturne, I think totally a transsexual man can understand the brotherhood men have. I totally think it's more mental thing. It doesn't have much to do with if you're born with a certain kind of genitalia. I also think some women totally understand this brotherhood of mentality. I also think there are guys who understand women way better. I've actually heard quite a few stories that some gay men understand women so much better than, basic straight guy. And that's actually the problem with straight guys. Straight guys are attracted to straight women, but they don't necessarily understand. They might have feuds, fights, and all that stuff. While some gay men might be like, hey, I'm totally clicking with my lady here. So, yeah, definitely doesn't matter if you're trans or not. One can totally feel the tribal sense in that stuff. Agent Robocop, I must say, I never got into Japanese role playing games. For a question about Kuroda or Nocturnal Mortem, I would say Kuroda. Kuroda is overall better. Nocturnal Mortem is, in my opinion, way too much hit and miss. Yeah, Voice of Steel is fine though. Deeper is asking me, how big is the snow layer? Do you remember Frost and Forest? I don't know, but there is snow outside now and it's not too thick. Dixon is having a great question. What got me into metal in the first place? Now, this goes way back to my childhood. I think it was Iron Maiden in the early 80s. I was probably 6 or 7, and there was this girl who was a friend of mine living in a nearby building. There has a bunch of row houses in the area, and she introduced me into Iron Maiden, and I had no clue what this music was all about. Mind you, I was 6 or 7, so obviously I could have been listening to kids' music, whatever there is. You'd probably know the definition of kid music. And suddenly you hear this metal music and like, wow, what is this? And then later on, I don't know when and by whom, I don't remember anymore. This was some 40 years ago. Um, I heard bands like Twisted Sister, Motley Crue, not Skid Row probably at that point. Wasp definitely was there. Kiss, and those bands seemed dangerous. They seemed like rebellious. They were not just average Jim Bobs or Joes or Karens. They had something way more rebellious going on. And man, me and my guys, we were like, wow, this is some badass shit. I remember, for instance, watching this Wasp music video, probably on the first album. And there was Chris Holmes playing music, I'm showing my hands intentionally. And he would like show middle finger in the middle of it. And we would just like fast forward and rewind. Not fast forward, but rewind back to see if he actually showed the middle finger. That was like, wow, he's such a badass. He's playing guitar and showing a middle finger. Like, that's rebellious as fuck. Mind you, we were kids, maybe 10 or so. And all those, Blackie Lawless having, those, what do you call that, saw blades here, on his, around his wrists or arms. And there was this bass player, Randy Piper, having kind of a skull and bones shaved bass. They were real badass. Kiss guys, they were spitting on the ground, looking like real badasses. They were doing friends kisses with these beautiful ladies. Metal group guys looked like as if they had, escaped from Mad Max the movies. So fucking dangerous. So fucking dangerous. Rebellion to the very basic. So I think that got me into metal. Good music. That was new to us. That was so rough and badass. Twisted Sister also. Mind you, we're talking about rock here, essentially. But rock and metal, I mean, where you draw the line back in the 80s. Listen to early Metal Crew, especially the second album, Shout at the Devil. It's so metal as fuck. Those riffs are fucking great. It's a great album. So anyway, the badass look and those badass riffs and even badass lyrics, that suddenly made sense. Fuck like a beast. Fuck like a beast. You're maybe 90 years old and there's somebody talking about fuck like a beast. What do you know about fucking? Nothing. But it means like something really, really fucking based, really something cool. So all that kind of started, ignited the thing for metal. I guess that's the real starting point. Yeah, Nocturne, I think you're brave for asking such a question about the trans thing and all that stuff related to brotherhood. This is definitely where you can ask that. And if there are bullies and then if there are trolls, we can just, kick them out. Silver Snake, I'm not, a stranger to hip hop elements. I used to listen to some kind of a gangster rap when I was teenager, but I don't know if they'll fit black metal that well. I mean, if they are nicely executed, why not? But in general, I would keep hip hop separated from metal. But there are exceptions. I remember when Public Enemy did the song "Bring the Noise" with Anthrax. It was fucking great, and this was some 35 years ago, whatever. Hey, I don't know this firsthand when you say that. You don't think gay men understand women, but that's what I've heard. So I don't know. Hard to say. I'm not gay guy, so I don't know. I'm not a woman either. Yeah, thanks, old man. Nice to hear. Thank you, Dixon. Old guys. Now I feel super old. I'm old guy telling these stories and I'm running out of beer. Not running out. There's a door behind me. Should I get another beer? We have already done this stream for 2 hours. Yeah, Wasp is fucking great. One of the best metal bands ever. Angel Robocock is asking if I speak other languages than Finnish and English. Un poco español. Yo quiero hablar español muy bien, but not there yet. Finnish speaking Finnish is already like a superpower. Hey, I can give you private Finnish lectures if you want to. Soihtu kulkue. That's actually pretty cool name. All right, Nocturne. I can't say I know those EDM subgenres, but if it works for you, why not? Benji, do smoke some pot now, once in your lifetime at least. It can be something very, very cool. But weed and beer, or weed and alcohol, two very different things. It's almost like death metal and black metal. Voldemort, I don't think I have heard Nordic Winter. Yes, Dixon. I noticed I have more beer in the attic than I remember. Oh, Benji, not Mexican. These are nice. That's cool. All right, Nocturne. Do I consider myself a misanthrope every now and then? Like yesterday when I was going to my friend's movie night. I don't know. When I was driving my car there, I was already thinking, like, lately I have been so fucking annoyed with a lot of people. And I mean, like, a global fucking scale, like, people. Whether it's about Ukrainian war and Russian people, whether about it's some fucking conservative assholes all around the world, whether it's about some far right idiots, whether about it's some far left idiots, whether about it's some woke people, whether about it's some social justice warriors, whether about it's some, I don't know, some fucking Trump supporters. I'm feeling like there should be a fucking star hitting our planet and destroying, because we're filled with fucking idiots. Like, mankind should be gone. So yes, sometimes I feel very, very cynical. I feel very, very fucking misanthropic. But things haven't really changed in 30 years so much. And I still keep saying, I'm a selective misanthrope. I do like a lot of people I'm in touch with. I have a lot of good friends, and I don't hate them one bit. I don't dislike them. I don't, in general, dislike people. And when I do, it's not because of, skin tone or culture or language or where they're coming from. But I hate a lot of, mindsets people have. I hate a lot of political people. I hate stubborn people. I hate conservative people. I hate judgmental people. So yeah, in a way, I'm a fucking misanthrope. But that is not to say that I don't help old ladies. I mean, if I see a fucking old grandmother or whatever needing a help, hey, you need me to carry your grocery bag, I will do it for you. You need me to open the door for you, young or old, doesn't matter. Even if that people might be, even if the person might be a total asshole, I can help people out. So when I was reading, for example, Typo Negative, well, more like Peter Steele biography, I totally connected with the mindset he had. He was the guy helping others out, grandparents or just random old people or random strangers. And yet at the same time, I could totally pick the tone that he had so much disrespect towards certain kind of asshole type of people. Maybe he was much like me. I don't know. I never met the guy, never got to know Peter Steele personally. But I could say it totally resonates with me. So while at the same time I can be super social and very much laughing, a goofy guy, you know what I mean, trying to be humorous and all, that doesn't stop me for hating a lot of asshole people there are right there. So yeah, it depends. Sometimes I feel very misanthropic, and sometimes I don't think about the topic at all. So there's that. Magic mushrooms, SK, my definitely my best substance experience ever was when I had magic mushrooms in the Netherlands. The best thing ever. Dixon, exactly. Where's the fun in no hope? There is no hope happening then. And New York is a fucking great place to be. Oops. Exactly, Nocturna. It's good to help out those elderly people as long as those elderly people are not assholes. Thank you, Silver Snake. Moro, moro, Lukas. Hyvin pyyhkii. How are you, man? Agent Robocop, soihtukulkue means like, well, soihtu means torch. Uh, kulkue means like, not envoy, but kind of like a group of people, you know, walking someplace. Like a group of people having, their torches up, like as if they're going to some place. That is what kulkue means. So soihtu kulkue means like a group of people having torches. Cherulamb, yeah, that is good stuff. I really like what how Peter Steele was according to the book and what I've read about him. So yeah, he had a good humor. He had a cynical view of life, but also positive. That's why I resonate with that guy. I'm a positive guy, but every now and then some very um, cynical things take place. The accuser, that sounds like a great younger days. I've seen Suffocation playing at Wacken. It was really good. What do you mean, A? by saying that misanthropy has to be uncompromising. Who defines that? I think Nocturne, everybody has a mix of liberal and conservative values. I think that's kind of a given. Nobody's fully liberal, nobody's fully conservative in a way. Nocturne, we actually filmed Satanic War Master interview part 2 last year, but he wasn't happy about it, so we never released it. So, yeah, hopefully we're going to do new Satanic War Master interview at some point. Dixon, sounds dedicated to your keystrokes. No, it is just mechanical keyboard, so hence it means sound like that. Quite a noise I get. Yeah, SK, but don't shout it. Shout about it too much. We don't need people. We don't want people to know about it too much because it never officially got out. Yeah, Dixon, indeed. Let's take this album microphone here. Nocturne, no, those were not what it was. I mean, you mean the censor, what it was blurred, the first interview? Yeah, yeah, partially. Basically, Satanic War Master asked me to take down the whole video, or at least blur, because of the comments. Thank you, SK. Yeah, yeah, Dixon. Yeah, sure, whatever. Alrighty, are we ready to wrap up this stream? Do you have some final questions? General, I really don't know. I can't really comment on behalf of the man himself. But yeah, I think there was too much ad hominem in a way. My thoughts of the future of black metal is pretty bleak, but also positive. The bleak side is there will be way more boring copycat bands and useless solo projects that are not good. And there will be a lot more black metal bands that trying to commercialize the whole thing, turn it into a fucking farce, uh, making everything like a goddamn joke, like a gimmick. And I'm afraid more political black metal bands will start to emerge, something that I don't really like at all. On the positive side, I think black metal, because there's so many bands, is kind of a bound to have a phase in evolution. So, for example, while a lot of old timers are turning sour or just quitting altogether doing their music and all that stuff, I think a lot of bands will actually, you know, evolve. There will be new bands to replace the old ones. Bands like Morgul from Finland, young and hungry, to pick up the torch where the old bands failed to do good music. I'm talking about bands like, Dark Throne and Satyricon and stuff like that, which used to be really, really good. Gorgoroth. Bands like that were super cool in the 90s and which are not that good anymore. So, in a way, I like to think that new generation will pick up and will also challenge the very foundations of black metal, because black metal cannot, just be on us older guys. It has to be this younger, newer generation, which is ready to kick some doors down and kick down the fences and challenge and all that stuff. But I hope it's not with done with politics. I hope it's done in more intellectual but also more barbaric ways. So I hope it's not so much societal. I hope it's not like the next punk or trash metal. Don't get me wrong, I like trash metal, but I don't like certain topics brought into black metal because it doesn't really have the right kind of a feeling. So I don't know. I feel kind of divided. There are pros and cons, like in everything. Lucas, today I had quite a few beers, good ones, so all good. I think metal will survive in general. I think metal is going through an evolution. I still hope that some bands, new or old, will keep the old one flaming. Like for example, I like Manowar. I like how they made that whole being metal bigger than what it was. You know, so we need to have new names that are maybe the next Metallica or next Iron Maiden, next Judas Priest, next Motorhead. We need to have those big names, and by big names I don't mean bands like Five Finger Death Punch or some metalcore bands. So I think we need to kind of a true classic metal lifestyle with so many bands. I'm not afraid one bit about the future of metal. And if it's gone, then it's gone. Those old albums never go out, but I don't think metal is going nowhere. We have more bands nowadays than ever before. More metal festivals probably than ever before. So I don't think metal is going anywhere. Not more into mainstream, not more into underground. It's just evolving. Yes, Lucas is right about that. Yes, Agent Robocop, I do think there is a line between folk black metal and folk metal. There are lots of folk bands which or folk metal bands that don't really want anything to do with whatever black metal is doing with. That is, you know, Satan, darkness, attacking religious organizations and being blasphemic, aggressive in general. Whereas folkier bands just want to do the kind of a historical recap of, you know, the world and all that stuff in metal. Yes, Lucas, exactly. That Bathory example is a good one. Well, whether Pile Driver is more better than Manowar doesn't matter because Manowar is bigger than life. Uh, I kind of a miss that we don't have those bands anymore, which were like Lemmy or Motorhead bands, just riding bikes, kind of a riding free kind of stuff. So in a way, that's something that I miss. That there are bands that just want to do that, kind of a this live free or die mentality. Manowar kind of became a joke of itself in a way. I don't know how long they're gonna last, but that doesn't mean there's not hope. And there are bands like Airborne, which are having fun on stages, throwing beer around and not taking super seriously, but yet at the same time delivering very aggressive, very energetic, and very metallic show. Yet not tackling any of the societal things or politics or whatever black metal is all about. Have never had a reach to Pseudo God, but I was trying to get Batushka in their interview, but so far nothing has happened. We'll see about it when I get to see them live. At Midcourt's Plot, I tried to read Batushka because they were playing there, but seems I got in touch with the wrong Batushka. And the wrong Badushka wasn't playing at Midcourt's Plot, but telling me that it's the other Badushka. So, yeah, didn't happen. All right, last questions. I I want to do some laundry. I don't really want to do that, but I have to do it. And I also want to go into gaming. So, last questions, and then I'm off to eat a little bit of pizza and do a little bit of gaming before I have to go to bed. Gyrolamp, very true about Lemmy. Benji, I haven't heard hardware, but I have heard of Cenotaph and Shub Nikurath along the years. Not that I have any recent recollections of it. Nocturne, what is this Vukas? Doesn't ring a bell. SK, yeah, very correct about it. If I just sleep in the sauna and do my work in sauna, I don't have to, do the laundry. Yes, Dixon, gaming. Should I stream it on Rauta Beyond? Nocturne, I really can't comment if raves are more dangerous than black metal festivals. Hard to compare. Thank you, Agent Robocock. Thanks for your kind words. Well, I could do gaming stream today on Rauta Beyond. I don't want to mess it with Rauta's content, but no. Griff, no. Not full of Samis and not Russian. So Dixon, make sure that you have Rauta Beyond channel subscribed. All right, Nocturne, have a good shower. Don't forget to touch yourselves in the right places. Benji, thank you. Grilf, if you ask anybody, I think Finnish people are labeled as European. But anyway, 2.5 hours in. I was supposed to be here like 1 hour or 90 minutes. So time for me to go. And before I go, I will show you this really cult pen. This is as cult as it gets. All right. Hopefully, when I'm in Spain in early January, I try to do the monthly stream from Spain. So you're not supposed to see this background in January when I'm doing the stream. And if you do, something is totally wrong. But let's see when it happens. I try to do it the first weekend of January. If not, well, hopefully the next weekend after that. So now, cheers, take your time, and catch you all. And remember to sign for Rauta Beyond channel if you want to see non-metal content from me, and also join Rauta's Discord for daily chats with me and other cool people on the channel. Take care, and see you soon again with more streams coming your way. Bye-bye. And good night.